I love concept albums. I love albums that are thematic. I mean, think about it. Pink Floyd, for example, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and of course, The Wall. I mean, those are incredible concept albums that you just put on the headphones. Man, it's a lost art. You need to do this. You really need to do this. Find your favorite album, listen to it, put the headphones on, listen to it from beginning to end, and absorb the songs and the meanings and the way they flow from one song into another. That's the beauty of a great concept album. And like I said, Pink Floyd does a great job of that. But what's really interesting, and what I'm going to talk about on today's Raw and Unfiltered, is my albums, the three albums that I have, two that of course are out there and released, and ER, which is the third one that is in the process of being recorded and will be released later this year. I never intentionally planned any of these albums as concept albums or thematic albums, but you know, it's funny, in a sense, they kind of are. And I do highly recommend that if you listen to any of the albums that I'm going to talk about, put on those headphones, all right? Kick back, relax, dim the lights, turn on your black light, you know, do whatever you need to do to put yourself in the mood and just absorb it and listen to the album and the songs from beginning to end, because I guess in a sense there is kind of a theme. So the first album I want to talk to you about is my debut album, Resurrection of Black. This album was labeled as the album of awareness. When the album came out in 2015, it was, well, first of all, it was embraced by the prog rock community, which I thought was pretty interesting because I never considered this a prog rock album. But hey, man, that's great. They loved it, they appreciated it, and you know, there was a lot of great reviews from magazines like Rocking Charts, Moshville Times, Progzilla, Prog Critique. There's a whole bunch of them, and it did really well in Europe. So I'm very pleased, very pleased. But the songs, of course, I had written back when I was in high school, most of them. There's a couple songs that were written later on. But again, as a kid, these were things that were on my mind. The world around us, Greedy Disregard, which is what's playing in the background here, which is about corporate greed. Then there's, you know, songs like Justifiable Condemnation, which is about bullying. There's Pleasures of War. There are all these songs that I can see where the reviewers are labeling them as the album of awareness. It's being aware of what's going on in the world. Now, even though these songs were written way back in the day, you know, it's kind of sad that they still apply to the world as we live in right now, the state of the world now. I mean, that's the bad thing. The good thing is that the songs have so far been pretty timeless, which I super appreciate as well. So, you know, pick up Resurrection of Black, man. Go to Lane's Laire shop. The link's in the description, and put on those headphones and listen to the album from beginning to end. It's a journey. It really is. So that was the album of awareness. Pretty interesting. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. All right. So my second album, oh, by the way, that album was released in 2015. The next album was, of course, 1111. Now, 1111 came out in 2018, and this album was really labeled more as the retrospective album. It's retrospective because it does talk about relationships. It talks about things that I had experienced in the past, you know, friends from high school. There's a song called Just in the Wind. That's my little joke there, right? Just in the Wind, making a joke about Dust in the Wind by Kansas. But that's about my friend Justin Smith, who I was a kid that I hung out with. We were friends back in high school. Then there's this song that's in the background right now. This is called Dying to Be Found. I could see his passion in his plan. Now this album is a little more, a lot of 12-string work on this album, so it's not as heavy and aggressive as Resurrection of Black. But you know, again, the topics are retrospective. And that's how this album was labeled. Again, not intentionally creating a concept album or a themed album, but hey, if that's what people see it as, then great, because you know what? However it moves you, that's what matters. That's really all that matters. And so that's what 1111 is about. Now, of course, we have the album that I'm working on right now, and that is ER. Now, ER is one of those albums that, again, I am not thinking of it as a concept album, but it kind of is, because this is a trauma album. And this one is probably the most personal out of all the albums that I've done. Now again, and this album's still in the works. It is coming out later this year, but it is a trauma album. And I started writing, or at least getting concepts or ideas for songs back in 2017, but it was only really over the last maybe 3 years or so where things really started to come together. And I think the reason why it was taking so long is that there were some life experiences that I needed to go through that ended up being part of the album. One of those life experiences was when my dad died, and then 2 months later, my mom died. And being there at her bedside as she took her last breath. That song, one of the songs on the album, which is called It's a Lie, is about my mom's death, and that's what you're hearing in the background here.
All your love slowly fades as every ounce of life is drained. Grasping, gasping.
Grasping and gasping, that last breath. That's what that song's about. But so there's songs about that, about losing my parents. There's songs just about loss in general, and about whether our life is even meaningful, or is everything that we do just meaningless. There's about relationship and about forgiveness and making amends. There's a song, actually the first single for the album is going to be A Dangerous Place, which is about the state of the world. And so again, this is a trauma album. Now, the one thing I want to say about ER when it comes out is that there's a couple of things. First of all, when you listen to the album, again, put on those headphones, man. Listen to it from beginning to end, because it's a great journey, right? It really is. But if a song resonates with you, that's great, because number one, that means that you are not alone, all right? We go through a lot of emotions. The human experience, the emotions that we feel as human beings, we all go through this, okay? So maybe one of the songs on this album will touch you in a way where you're like, wow, man, yeah, I get it. That's how I felt, or this is how I feel. Kind of like Linkin Park fans, right? Linkin Park, their music was, and the fans are great because they really embraced everything that band was talking about, and it means a lot to people. That's why Chester Bennington meant so much to the fans. So again, if there's something that touches you emotionally, that's great, all right? That's great, because again, you're not alone. I feel the same things that you feel. It may be different situations, but you know what? We all feel the same thing. The other thing that's really important when you listen to this album, I'm so excited. I want to get this thing released, but we gotta finish recording and mixing and all that. But the other thing is this: if you listen to a song on the album and it triggers you to do your own emotional release, then that's great. That means I did my job, because again, this album is very personal, okay? This is my emotional release. This is my therapy. And if it's therapeutic for you, then that makes me feel incredibly great, because that means I had something that I'm able to help you with. And that's a great thing, and that's what I love about the human experience. We all deal with these emotions, all right? So I'm not thinking of this album as a concept album, but in a sense it kind of is, at least thematically it is, because this is a trauma album. So I'm really looking forward to releasing this album. So those are the themes, those are the concepts. You got Resurrection of Black, which is the album of awareness. You have 1111, which is the retrospective album. You have, of course, ER, which is the trauma album. And who knows what will come out after that? I don't know. I'm just focusing on ER right now. But again, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. I want to take you on the ER journey and share with you other behind the scenes and stories and concepts about my musical career and you know, everything that's going on with Laire. So I do appreciate you, and I'm very thankful for you following and enjoying my music. Again, all the links to my website, my shop, it's all in the description. And so check them out. All right, check them out. Buy the albums, buy Resurrection of Black, and buy 1111. And when you do, put on those headphones. All right, and listen to it from beginning to end, because really that's what albums are for, right? To listen to it from beginning to end, because it is a journey, and I want to take you on that journey. And of course, my final assignment to you, as always, is when you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger, say hello to them, give them a compliment. That small gesture of kindness can make the world of difference in somebody's life. Okay, so be a life changer. Be a life changer. We need more positivity in this world. Do that. All right, be good humans. Again, hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. Share the link. Right, share this channel with your friends, family, co-workers, enemies. Let's build this channel. All right, I'm just wishing you well, of course, and I'll be talking to you on the next edition of Raw and Unfiltered.